What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and it's time to continue on with my list of my top 100 games of all time, 95 through 91. Okay, so as usual, disclaimer, I just want to reiterate that this is my top 100 favorite games of all time, not necessarily the games that I think are the top 100 greatest games of all time. Because as you'll see, at many points throughout my list, there are games where you're just like, because I was even like, there are way better games than this, but I love it. So that's kind of just how I did it. These are just games that mean the world to me. I talked about all that in the last video, and I would assume you probably watched that one first, so I don't need to go into it again. But, with that being said, let's get on to it. I actually don't have a few of the games for today's numbers physically. So, first one up is number 95, which I had physically for a long time, and apparently I doubt I sold it, but I must have loaned it to somebody at some point, and I don't have it anymore, and I'm kind of sad about it, but I'm sure I could get it pretty easily if I wanted to. And that is Mortal Kombat 3 on the Super Nintendo.
I know this will probably be one of those unpopular opinions. Mortal Kombat 3 definitely isn't one of the best fighting games ever made, nor is it the best game in the series. However, what made this game great for me, along with the obvious nostalgia, is the cheats. I have so many memories of playing it with my cousins and always needing to put in the codes for extra characters, one-button fatalities, and hyper mode. There were so many cool things to unlock that the game just became one big fighting game playground, and I loved it. I actually had put in the codes so many times that at one point I had them all memorized, and we literally had a several-week period where neighborhood kids would come and knock on our door, just so I could write down the codes for Mortal Kombat 3 for them. This was before the internet, kids.
Coming in at number 94 is a game that I have no doubt many of you watching this have either played or heard people rave about, and that is Marvel's Spider-Man on PlayStation 4.
This game, just wow. I remember having so much fun with Spider-Man back on PS2 and thinking how freeing it felt to be swinging around the city. I had no idea that 2 console generations later, we'd get a game like this that absolutely blew that one out of the water. The map is massive, the swinging and soaring are super satisfying, and the storyline is solid. Not to mention the costumes you can unlock, side missions you can do, and the fact that you get to decide which Spidey playstyle works best for you through the crazy amount of different skills you can get. This game absolutely delivers as easily one of the best superhero games I've ever played.
Coming in at number 93 is a game that I don't have physically, but if it's out there, I would love to get it. I bought it digitally because it looked interesting and people couldn't stop telling me about it. And I really think everybody should give it a shot. That is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ever have a game that you thought looked neat and everyone else that played it told you how amazing it was, but you were a little skeptical about how much you'd actually like it? That was Ori and the Blind Forest to me. I'm normally not a huge fan of side-scrolling adventures with tons of backtracking, but within just a couple hours of firing it up, I was absolutely hooked on the gameplay and visuals. This gorgeous Metroidvania-style game is an absolute must-play for fans of the genre, and the music is seriously top-notch. Don't skip this one.
At number 92, we have a game that is a little bit controversial among fans of the series, but I absolutely love it, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I know this will be a controversial pick among Xenoblade fans, but I can't help it. I love this game. One of my biggest issues with the first Xenoblade Chronicles game was having this big, expansive world, but how empty it felt and how long it took to run from point A to point B. Xenoblade Chronicles X addressed those issues in a spectacular way. The whole world felt alive, with tons of places to explore and see, and every inch having something worth checking out. Add that to the fact that you can eventually create and customize your own mech suits for your characters, allowing you to drive and eventually fly around the map. This game had me hooked from start to finish. While I'll admit the story is a little lackluster compared to the other games in the series, the gameplay and exploration is some of the best I've ever seen in a video game, period.
Coming in at number 91 is a game that I don't have physically, but oh man, it would be so cool if I did. It's just not something that I'm like in a hurry to get into soon because there are so many different ways to play it at this point. It's not a big deal. And I highly recommend it to anybody curious about the genre or the game, and that is Shining Force.
I've already done a full review of this game on the channel, so be sure and go and check that out for my complete thoughts. Although, if you haven't seen it already, this game being on the list is a pretty dead giveaway that I loved it. The visuals are gorgeous, the combat is a perfect entry level for people new to tactical RPGs, and there's a whole slew of characters to recruit and play around with. Definitely check out Shining Force if you haven't already.
There you have it, guys. My 95 through 91. We're making steady progress through the list. It's still so many to go. I have a handful more written, so I'm ready. I just need to keep recording these segments and kind of going through it that way. But you know, we're chugging along, and yeah, can't wait to show you guys more games and eventually get to. I've already done a top 5 games of all time on the channel, but my top 10 honestly fluctuates so much that, quite frankly, the top 100 fluctuates so much. These lists are so, like, they're fun to do, but it's like, it just depends on the weather and the day of the week and how you're feeling. You know, it's anybody who's done anything like this can attest to that. So my top 5 on this top 100 that I'm doing is not very different, but it is different from my top 5 games of all time that I did on the channel earlier on, a couple years ago. So if you think you know my top 5 games, you don't know all of them. Just putting that out there. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of these games that I listed today. Looking forward to seeing the next one. And as always, keep on gaming.